Hello, good evening. How are you all? Welcome back after the weekend. Yes, Savi, please go ahead with your question. Happy Monday, all of you. This is what I have to wish today. And how many of you know Kashif from our group? So Kashif has got a really good score. He scored 90 in reading yesterday. Oh, Kashif is here. Sorry, I didn't see. I thought to encourage all of them that uh, you have got your score and they'll get motivated that they also have to follow the list. So, Kashif, are you here to share your exam feedback? Then I can unmute you. Yeah, just 1 second. Kashif, yeah, here. So, Kashif, you can unmute yourself now.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hello from everybody.
Hi, so I got my score. It was really good. I mean, I wasn't expecting 90, that too in reading. And thank you so much for all the classes that we have been taking in the lockdown days and up till now. Because reading was always it was my weakest link, and I was scoring 72, 73, 74, but this time it really cracked the code. So basically what was, I think, in the new exam pattern, it's all about, I think, the grammar, because hints are there in the passage itself. You can't read the passage. You don't have enough time to read the passage again and again. You have to look like, if it's an ed form, it's a past tense, you have to pick it up, and you just have 2.5 minutes for that. You can do that. So I think, yeah, that, but thank you so much. It really worked. Thank you so much.
You're
Especially
welcome. You're
yeah.
welcome. So I would really like you to, when you attempt the test, if you have something kind of a piece of advice for anybody that this thing worked for you and maybe this can work
Yeah,
for
so
somebody else.
before going to the test, just do like 3-4 hours, or maybe before that 5-6 hours, because I booked my test at 8 p.m. at night, and it was in Kingston because I couldn't find the date. And I thought, just give it a shot. So I managed to do like couple of weekly predictions, and I got like one question reading and writing blank from that. So that was, I think, a plus point. But I think you should all complete the predictions, everything complete, because even if you get one question from it, that would do the trick, and that will make all the mistakes count less as compared to whatever we're doing. So that's very important. Plus, I think the write from dictation, it was a lot harder, a bit what I have been previously expecting, but it was a bit harder because they're giving like 15 to 16 words this time around.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yes,
so I
I've
got a,
heard from some other students as well that write from dictation definitely is not that easier now.
yeah,
Um,
because, and
so-
given the fact that they're giving only 3 minutes now for as soon as you reach the last four questions, it's
mm.
only 3 to 4 minutes that you have. So you have a minute for every dictation. Yeah. So yeah, that's
So
how
keep your write from dictation in your everyday
yeah,
list,
right.
guys. That should be
Yeah,
your
right from
everyday
dictation.
session.
Plus the exam pattern that we have in the portal, it's like 30 minutes and 15 questions. So I
Hmm.
got like 29 minutes and 15 questions. So that was a
Yeah,
minute
it's like,
less.
yeah, and sometimes they are giving
Yeah,
29 minutes, sometimes you are getting 30 minutes. This
yeah,
is the
exactly.
variation we have seen. It ranges between 29 to 30, but obviously when you're preparing, you should be preparing yourself on the harder side. So keep
Exactly.
29 as your target.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyhow, Kashif, I'm really, really happy. Before you
Yeah,
texted me, I got your scorecard already, and I was waiting when are you going to text me. But I was
yeah,
so
thank you so
happy
much.
looking
I
at
wasn't
that. I'm so
expecting
happy.
19 reading. I could not imagine. Like, reading was the last thing that I would have expected to get 19.
19, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
it's
thank you
the
so much.
it's I think if you would agree, it's all about when you get that right technique of looking at the question, when you get that right technique of reading the question, your answers automatically turn out to be right.
Yes, I think we can't, because previously I was doing what I was reading the sentences again and again, and I used to
Hmm.
miss the important points. Now it's more of like you have to pick up the key points. You have to look after the
Yes.
blank, before the blank, and somewhere in the middle. The answer
It's
will
more
come.
about now, analyzing the text rather
Yeah,
than
exactly.
interpreting it.
Because they know that you don't have enough time to
Yes.
understand the passage,
Hmm.
because you don't even have enough time to read the passage completely.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Anyhow,
that's
all the very best for your future, Kashif.
thank you
Congratulations
so
from
much.
all
Thank
of
you.
us. And we
Thank
really
you.
hope that you get your permanent residency soon. And then
Yeah. Thank
again,
you.
come back and tell us the good news.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Oh,
Okay,
thanks.
bye-bye. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, so words of motivation and encouragement. iPhone G, why have you done this? Okay, let's begin with today's test and we will discuss your scorecard at the end. But a very well attempted iPhone G, good attempt. Missing by 1 mark does not show your capability. Missing by 1 mark, like, does not show negative capability, definitely shows your caliber. Where do you stand? And obviously 1 or 2 marks, it's like you're almost there, means you are doing the hard work, continue doing that. And it's just maybe 1 or 2 things have gone wrong, but definitely it will be very soon that we will be having your speech as well. Okay, so the first question for reading writing blanks on the screen, and please guys, it's very important to time yourself. Don't let yourself give yourself an open time limit that it's okay, I'll see that in the exam. That's not going to work. You'll have to practice within that time frame, only then you will be able to do that in the exam as well. So please time yourself, give yourself only 2 to 2.5 minutes. Keep a target that I have to solve within 2 to 2.5 minutes. That is 2 minutes, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, not more than that. And please participate. Put your answers in the chat box, all of you, as soon as you solve, so that I get to know what your weak point is and we can discuss those things. Here you go. Put your answers in the chat box. 2.5 minutes for this question. Okay, should be done. Please post your answers, those who are left. Bhavin, please concentrate. So this says the East African Rift System. We have a comma, some information, again a comma. So in the beginning, you should not read between commas unless and until you feel it is required. You can just have an overview that what information is given. For example, they are talking about the length. These many miles, you can look at kilometers. 30 to 40 miles, again kilometers. But when you are reading your sentence, you should shorten the sentence by eliminating the comma to comma part. So you say the East African Rift System is one of the most dash rifts in the world. So one of the most significant means important. One of the most influence, with most comes a verb, third form of verb. Influence is a noun, so that should be eliminated. We don't need a noun here. Most far-reaching rifts or most narrow rifts. So anytime that you are confused, like some of you have written, I can see is significant, very few though. Significant, how do you know that it is an important rift or not? How can we say that it is very important? You always have to select your answer based on what information they have provided us. We cannot assume something to be important. So in whole sentence, did they talk about any importance of that thing? No, what they talk about was the length. So according to length, what answer fits is it is far reaching, means it's very big. It's one of the longest rifts because they are talking about how many kilometers it runs through. So this is what is called analyzation of text. Don't assume and expect some things to be the answer. Everything is within the text. You only have to see what the context is trying to convey and you only select those words. So it is far reaching means it's very long. It goes very far away. It runs from the Middle Eastern country of Jordan in the north and heads south dash Eastern Africa before ending in the southeastern African country of something. So the starting point is given, the ending point is given. In between will be obviously something is starting from here, ending here. So in between it is just going across, passing through whatever comes in the way. So the second answer will be it runs through this country and heads south through something, because that's a thing which will be passed and then going towards the ending, which is the other country. So what I have seen here, Bhavin, why have you selected all over? So it is starting from one point, ending at the other point. How can we say in between it was all over or some place? We don't know how much of East Africa it covered. We can just say it passed through East Africa in the way. It can be small, it can be big East Africa. We don't have to do anything with that, right? So it will be head south through because it's just the passing through and then ending. The rift system is dash for much of East Africa's most dash scenery. So this rift system is answerable. Now rift system is a non-living thing. It cannot answer. Is applicable for, applicable is like these rules are applicable for the exam. Applicable means you have to apply them in the exam. That is how we use applicable. This rift system is responsible for scenery. Rift system is subject for, subject comes with subject to something. So this will be, this rift system is responsible for scenery, means it is because of this rift system that there is so good scenery there. And then is responsible for much of the East Africa's most dash scenery. So we understand what is scenery, something which can scenery obviously is used for something which is beautiful to see. So any adjective which can describe the beauty of scenery. Breathtaking, most extremely, most artistic, most haunting. Haunting is a negative word. All the context is going positive. We cannot go negative. Extremely is not an adjective. Artistic or breathtaking. So we don't know whether it is artistic or not. Maybe it's just weather. It's just nature. So we cannot say it is artistic. So we can definitely say breathtaking because that means it's really very beautiful. It's like wonderful kind of thing we can say breathtaking for. Including the snow-capped peaks of this mountain, this other mountain range and dash valleys. Certain, many, a few, numerous. So whenever you have options, 4 options, the 2 options which are synonyms should always be your priority. And here the synonyms are many and numerous. And out of many and numerous, what is more academic is numerous. So you should go with and numerous valleys. So these are the answers. I'll go through it once again. Far reaching, simply based on context. They were talking about kilometers, so we'll also select the same thing. Second, when you start from a place and at the other place, in between you pass through some countries or some areas coming. Third, this rift system is responsible for beautiful scenery. What we have for beautiful is breathtaking scenery. And in the end, many and numerous are synonyms. So you should come up with a better academic version, which is numerous. So that should be the answer. Now put your doubts in the chat box, anyone, if you have any. Well done, Harjeet. And you even solved it in very less time. Very well done. No, Nidhi. So with most, it is not compulsory to come up with ing form of verb. With most, you only have to come up with third form of verb. Means most something is third form. It can be ing, it cannot be ing. Yes, anybody else, any questions? So John, how do you know they are saying not many valleys? How do we know that they want to say that there were only few, there were not many valleys there? So a few means going negative. When I want to say there are a few students in the class, that means I am saying negatively that no, there are not many students today. That is a few used in that sense. So you have to always analyze whether the sentence is going positive or negative, and that helps you to finalize your answer. Never miss that point. It's a very small but a very big hint, selecting or choosing on the basis of positive or negative words. Okay, all good with all of you in this? So responsible, Harish, maybe you're understanding, like if when we say a human being is responsible, means he has done the work. In non-living things, when you talk about scenery or something, responsible means it is because of this thing that the other thing is possible. That is how the meaning of responsible comes out here. Responsible does not mean to take responsibility. No, responsible means it is because of this that the other thing exists. All right, all good. No worries. So here is your second question on the screen. 2.5 minutes. Please post your answers and try to manage the time. All right, should be done now. Please post your answers. One thing, please always keep in mind that when you are going to the test, there will always be some words whose meanings you will not know. Don't expect a day that an exam will come and you are going to understand everything under the sun. It's not going to happen. So you should be ready. And when you see a difficult word, it should not be something new for you. You should be well prepared how to handle and how to tackle that word by looking at what information you have apart from that word. Now, here I can see most of you. Okay, let's begin with the question. Nelson Mandela, full name is given. He was a black nationalist and the first black president of South Africa. His negotiations in the early 1990s with the South African president, this person, helped end the country's apartheid system of racial segregation and dash in a peaceful transition to majority rule. I am seeing a lot of you have selected bring here. Is this a thing that after attending so many classes you should be missing on tenses at the moment? Which tense is the sentence in? We are in past tense. Then the first thing you should be eliminating should be present tense. Now this thing we have discussed a lot of times, that sometimes looking at your options can also help you start what to do first. Now when you look at the options, you have 3 in past form, 1 in present form. The very first step you should be doing is, which form do I need? Don't just blindly read whatever is given. You should have a purpose of reading, that why am I reading, what am I trying to find out when I'm reading. The very first thing in this question should be, I am finding tense. So let's look at what tense they have used. It's past, so I should eliminate this. Unless and until you will start reading with the target, with some perspective, it's not going to help you much. Now, second thing, we always say that prepositions play a very important role. So you have in here, you have to match your answer with in. So we are talking about a person, his negotiations helped end the country's apartheid system of racial segregation and dash in a peaceful transition. Announced in a peaceful transition, we say announced in the hall or announced in the public. These are only the 2 ways we can use in with announced. So again, what helps is frame a sentence with those 2 words that you are trying to pair together. If you want to put announced and in together, frame a sentence with announce and in your general life. That how will you use that? And do they have a place here, or do they have public written here? No. So you cannot say announced in a peaceful transition. How can a person announce in a peaceful transition? Or showed in a peaceful transition. Showed still makes sense, but announced doesn't make sense with in. Showed and ushered almost are same. So ushered is a better academic word for showed, but exactly showed is not what they want to say here. They want to say he helped in a peaceful transition. So showed is like he showed the guidance, he guided how to go in a peaceful transition to majority rule. So the answer would be ushered, and it should have simply been on the basis of elimination. That a person, peaceful transition is not a thing that you can show to somebody. And based on that, all these eliminations bring on the basis of you need past tense. Announced does not go with in. Showed, this is not, any person is not showing anything like a picture, a portrait. This is not that kind of thing. So we should go with ushered. And yes, you have to accept that in such kind of cases, you can never be 100% sure about your blank. There will be doubts, but you have to go with them. We don't have an option to use Google and, search the meanings and get the answers. So it's okay to be doubtful about certain blanks rather than being sure and selecting wrong ones. So you can make a choice among both. So Mandela and the other person were jointly dash. So with were, it should be ed form of verb. You always can eliminate ly options when you're selecting your answers. These 2 persons were dash the Nobel Prize. So awarded, distributed, donated, and granted. So they were given, they got the prize. So it will be they were awarded the prize. Prizes are awarded to people. He is known for several things, but perhaps he is best known for successfully leading the resistance to South Africa's policy of apartheid in the 20th century, dash which he was infamously incarcerated at this island. So they finished at 20th century. It's a time period. Then they say dash which means it is referring to the same thing. So when you have a time period, what do we use in time period is during this time period. And we'll go with the same thing. 20th century it happened, during which means during that time. So this which made a hint that they are talking about 20th century. And we know when we talk about time period, we select during in that case. He won the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1993. Dash, South Africa's president at the time. This name we have already read. And they said that both of them got the award together. So he got the Nobel Prize with this person. And what does with mean here? In the midst, no, sorry, besides this person, on top of this person, along with this person, or simultaneously. So two people getting the prize together will be along with the other person, along with him. That means these two people together got the prize for having led the dash from apartheid to a multiracial democracy. So what did they lead? They led the development, transition, shift, or passage. So the whole context talked about that whatever this was, they termed this thing as a transition, as a change from one form to the other form. So we'll go with the same thing. They have led this transition from apartheid to a multiracial democracy. Right? Put your doubts if you have any. Well done, Saida. Good attempt. So John, is this a shift? Are they not saying this, that this is a transition? When they themselves are naming this thing a transition, who are we to say that no, this was a shift? So you always have to go with, if they're already describing the whole process as this is a transition, we will also say the same thing, right? Simultaneously, what is the meaning of simultaneously? I am reading and writing simultaneously, means exactly at the same time doing the other thing. Two people receiving the award simultaneously does not make sense. It would be like at the same time they're giving two trophies. We are not talking about time here. We are saying that these two people together got the award, means they were given the award together. So along with the other person, I can say along with my friend, I completed this assignment. So you won't say simultaneously with my friend, right? So that is the meaning of along with here. In the midst of means in the middle of Vijaya. So can we say he did something in the 20th century in the middle of which he was incarcerated? How do we know it was in the middle of 20th century that he was incarcerated? It can be in the beginning also, it can be in the end also. This is a knowledge based answer. If we say in the middle of, that means we knew that it was in the middle of, but we don't know about Nelson Mandela. So this is also a point to be kept in mind, that you can never give answers which are knowledge based answer. It is a language exam basically. So all the answers will be language based, that you should understand what language, what context is going on, not knowledge. So Sagar, is the third one clear? So the second one is awarded, Nidhi, because prizes are awarded to people. And the fourth one, like I said, along with means two people, like along with the other person. Simultaneously is when you're having the time perspective in point. Then you use simultaneously. Right? All good? Anything else if I have missed? Okay, so here is the third question. Now, I'll not show the question, otherwise you don't listen to me, you start solving. when we have these classes, when I keep on saying, please take notes, I don't mean by noting the grammar rules only. I mean by noting these things that, okay, we can frame a sentence in general life. That is also a way of solving. We should check the tense first. We should check the preposition when we are solving. So all these things are notes that you have to make. If you don't have these things written and you don't revise them before the exam, in the exam, again, you're going to end up understanding the text, which may or may not happen. So notes means every single thing that you are not doing and I tell you to do, please note it down. So here is the third question on the screen. You have 2.5 minutes for this. Please post your answers when you solve. Okay, should be done by now. This first blank in this one is actually a difficult blank because there's absolutely no difference in this blank. If we go with have grappled or have been grappling, both are grammatically right and both make sense as well with the context. I don't think so. The first thing is you are not going to get this in the exam. What they're going to do is if they give you have grappled, they might give you has been grappling. They won't give you have been grappling. But in the worst case, if this happens, so what is a very, very slight difference between both of these? Have been grappling will come, that is present perfect continuous will come when they want to emphasize on the time perspective, when the major reason for writing the sentence is to write that it has taken a very long time. That is the main idea of the sentence, when they want to emphasize on time. And have grappled when you are not emphasizing on time and your main idea of the sentence is something else, then you go with have grappled. And here they, in the next sentences, they did not actually talk about like it took them so long, they tried for years, and this is the longest research. So if that would have been the case, then it would be have been grappling. So since and for both are same. So our LA student. So since and for both can come with have and have been. There's no difference in that. But the difference is when you want to emphasize on time, you go with have been ing, present perfect continuous. When your emphasis is on the main idea is something else of the sentence, then you go with present perfect. But I strongly believe they're not going to give this in the exam. One will be has, definitely. So this is theoretical physicists have grappled for years with related questions as part of their considerations of how our own universe began. In the 1980s, the cosmologist, this person at this university, so in the 1980s, Mr. A dash with the mechanism through which the laws of quantum mechanics could have generated. So in the 1980s, something happened. It should be past tense. Let's look at the options. Come across is present, arise is present, emerged. So our subject is a human being. We cannot say Mr. A emerged because human beings don't emerge. So it will be Mr. A came up with. Now this is also a technique. Now you don't count these things as techniques, but they are. Wherever you have these names, you just shorten them. Mr. A university, B university, all these things help to understand the context. And like I said, emerged cannot be used for human beings. This also I've said a number of times. Always check whether a word can be used for a living thing, non-living thing, with plants, animals. So a word which can be used for nature may not be used for a living being. So these are also the things you can use for elimination. So Mr. A came up with the mechanism through which the laws of quantum mechanics could have gathered an inflating universe from a dash in which there was no time, no space, and no matter. So what is this no time, no space, no matter is a state, express, factors, or circumstance. So first of all, with a, it should be a singular noun. So you can eliminate factors. Express is not a noun. We know that with a, an, or the always comes a noun. What we are left with is state or circumstance. So again, this is not a circumstance, a past time when there was no time, no space, or no matter. This is not one circumstance. It is a state. Like solid, liquid, gas is a state, that in the same way. A state in which there was no time, no space, and no matter. There is an dash principle in quantum theory. So with an, it should be something starting with the vowel. There is an accepted principle, established principle, traditional principle, unaltered principle. So traditional cannot come with an. Unaltered or altered, we don't know. So this is again a way, always look at the opposite of the word. If the opposite does not fit, that particular word can also not fit. So it was altered or not, we don't know. So we cannot select that. So accepted is something like people have accepted. Established is something which is true to the universe. Everywhere in the universe, everybody accepts it in the same way. That thing is established. So we'll go with, this is something talking about a theory. So we'll say established principle, because it's not about few people accepting it. Theories are always established. So there's an established principle in theory that pairs of particles can spontaneously, momentarily pop out of empty space. Many cosmologists have made peace with the dash of a universe without a prime mover, divine or otherwise. So many people, let's say, have made peace with the dash that of a universe, of the peace with the idea, opinion, representation, or notion. So again, what are the synonyms? Idea and notion are synonyms. And what is a more academic word? Notion is a more academic word. So that should be the answer. So a lot of times this work, out of 4 options, 2 are the synonyms. Your answer is out of those 2 words, not out of the other 2 words. Unless and until both 2 synonyms are completely talking something else, exceptions. Otherwise, you should take a chance on that side. Right? Any confusions? So emerged human beings, we cannot use the word emerge with human beings, Nidhi. So we don't say people emerge. So that is why emerged cannot be the answer. Okay, Azhar, how are you getting 4.5 marks out of 5? Is this allowed in PTE? We didn't know that. This is our own personal scoring, you know. Typo, so please do proofreading in the exam 2 times. You're writing questions. Okay, and I hope you have noticed have and have been, though it's a very like 0.001% it will happen in the exam, but still you should notice it. You should note it. And 4th one. So we have an principle. So with an, traditional cannot come, altered or unaltered. This is based on knowledge. How do we know that the principle was changed or not? So we cannot go with that. Accepted is something which is like accepted by me, accepted by you, accepted by a few people. But established is something which does not have the question of acceptance or rejection. It is something which is true to the nature, or like which is proved at the world universe level. So you cannot say I don't accept it, because even if you don't, it's not going to make a difference. So that is established. So whenever there are theories, theory is something which always something will be called a theory after it is established. Means it is something that everybody believes to be true. First one, have grappled and have been grappling when. So have been grappling would have come if the main idea of the sentence would have been to highlight the time perspective. But here the main idea was not time perspective. The main idea was that physicists are working to find out how the universe began. And how do we know if the main idea would have been the time? They would be talking about time, that they worked for 10 years on this, or numerous of the researchers have been conducted on this same topic. So they will be talking about time perspective if that would be the main idea. So can we say representation, Saga, would be like globe, like we say the model of the globe that we have is a representation of the earth. Globe is a representation of the earth. So that is what is the meaning of representation. Here they are saying that many cosmologists, means the people who study universe, they have made peace with this notion, with this idea that universe does not have that of a universe without a prime mover, that nobody is actually moving it, it's divine or otherwise. So they have accepted these things. So they have made peace means they have accepted this thing, this idea, this notion. So that's how representation will be something graphical, something kind of a model, then you can say it's representation. Right? Okay, let's move ahead. Question number 4. 2.5 minutes for this. Start solving, post your answers. Please time yourself. Okay, should be done was a small one. So D is a curious V-shaped Carol atoll in the dash of the Indian Ocean. Center of the ocean makes sense. Interior of the ocean, exterior of the ocean. Doesn't make sense because oceans don't have interiors and exteriors. So this is, like I said, think of the opposite word, and that helps you if the word is completely irrelevant to what you are thinking, what the context is about. So that word won't match. So oceans don't have interior exteriors. In the midpoint of the Indian Ocean. Too specific to say that it is exactly in the midpoint. Too narrow word. And center, they are given 2 times. So it should be center of the ocean because you cannot exactly have a midpoint of the ocean. Then they say the island serves as a massive air and naval support base for the US and British militaries owing to its dash location between East Africa. If you read the sentence, it is an important base for the US and British militaries owing to its location between East Africa, Middle East, and this and this. The sentence is complete. So now the rule, if the sentence is complete and after the sentence there is an noun, what we need in the blank is an adjective. So we need a word which can describe the word location. What kind of location is it? And it's a positive word. They are talking positive about the location. Decisive means something which helps you to take decisions, decision making kind of thing. Necessary location. So we cannot say Indian Ocean is at a necessary location. There cannot be a necessary location for that. Strategic location, tactical. Tactical means planned. So Indian Ocean, sorry, cannot plan the location, not plan the location. We also cannot plan the location of any island or the ocean. So tactical doesn't make sense. So decisive, not make sense because location cannot be, it is at a decision making location. No. So we can say it is at a strategic location. Strategic means very central, very important. Uh, a place, like we generally use this in geography, that strategic location. For I think number of other things we also use this. It is used when you want to say that something is at a point which gives it a lot of benefits and lot of importance. Because of its position, it gets, like let's say trade, it is in the center and it can trade with a lot of countries, so that is kind of strategic location. So they say the island was once dashed to more than 1,000 islanders who were removed. So was once means in the past, the island was dashed to people. Islanders would be people. So it was definitely home to, it cannot be residual, central, or familiar. What was it to people? It was a home to people. These islanders and their descendants dashed to sue for the right to return home. They recommence. Recommence means once they stopped and now they have restarted. But how do we know they stopped and restarted? Resume also means the same thing. They pause and now they have restarted. They continue to sue means they earlier also they sue, now also they're continuing to sue. Carry on. Carry on is not an academic way in this sense. So it will be they continue to sue for the right to return home. Right, so these are the answers. The first one is center of the ocean. We cannot have a midpoint of the ocean. Decisive would be decision making. Necessary, location cannot be necessary. Tactical means planned, so it should be strategic. Strategic means something because of which it gets lots of benefits. So it would be central location or strategic location. Island was once home to people because islanders means human beings, people. And the last one, they still continue to sue because they were removed. So they continue to sue. Right? Any questions, anybody? Please do ask your confusions or doubts if you have any. So what else we can say, Nidhi? What is your answer for the fourth one? The island was dashed to people. Residual. What is the meaning of residual? Residual is waste. So say residual of the process means the waste of the process. That is residual. So maybe confusing it with residence. It's not that same. It's residual waste. Got it now? No worries. So here you have your question number 5 on the screen. And 2.5 minutes. Post your answers and please time yourself. Done, should be done. Dialogue is too narrow to say. Dialogue would be like one. I'm saying something that is my dialogue. You will say something that will be your dialogue. Conversation is better. At least this makes sense that you're conversing about climate change with somebody. Okay. Let's have a look at the answers. We are doomed, a common refrain in casual dash about climate change. So a casual conversation about climate change. Casual dialogue doesn't make sense. Casual conversation. It signals an awareness that we cannot, so don't read this. It signals an awareness that we cannot dash climate change. We cannot prevent, avert, stop, ignore. So I took a chance. I selected avert without knowing the meaning because all of the words like stop and prevent were fitting. That we cannot stop climate change, we cannot prevent climate change. Prevent though is not very right word to fit here, but stop definitely fits. But because avert was also in simple present tense, and it could be grammatically correct, so I took a chance. And yes, I searched the meaning later on, and it means stop only. Avoid, prevent, stop. So this is kind of a hint that you can take, that if all the four options are first forms of verbs and there is one word uh, whose meaning you don't know, but it is seeming negative to you, like this seemed negative to me to share my experience, so I selected it. You can take a chance in that way, because it would be like hardly one blank in this way. If it is one blank, take a chance, that's okay. So it will be a word. um Climate change, it is already here. That meant only that we cannot stop, it's already here. All we can hope is to minimize climate change by keeping global average temperature changes to less than 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial trials, dash avoid rending consequences to global civilization. So this is completely based on text. In order to avoid consequences, we have to keep the temperature low so that we can avoid the consequences of global warming or consequences to people. So in order to avoid the consequences, please note down the meaning of avoid, those who haven't. It is still physically possible, says this IPCC in a panel on climate change in its report, but realizing 1.5 degrees Celsius consistent pathways dash require rapid and systemic changes, systematic it should be, on unprecedented scales. So we want to do something, so that thing will require something in future. So what we have in future is this would require. We cannot say this should require. Should is for suggestion. This is not a suggestion. They are saying in the report that this thing is required. It is not a suggestion. Could is possibility that maybe we need this, but it's not. That report will say that we need to do this. So they say realizing this, if you really want to realize this target, it would require a lot of changes to the scales. So would means in the future it will require that. And then they say, physical possibility aside, the observant and informed layperson could be forgiven her doubts on the question of political possibility. What should be the message from the climate scientist, the environmental activist, the conscientist politician, the ardent planner, those daunted but dashed to pulling out all the stops? Now, how I selected was, those means these are human beings. Daunted is past tense. So first I eliminated ing and engagement because they are not past forms. Out of allotted and committed, committed goes with human beings, allotted does not go with human beings. So we cannot those daunted, we cannot say those allotted. So we'll say those committed, like people are committed to something, makes sense. So that is how you should be doing in the exam, because in any case, there are going to be sentences which we are not going to understand contextually. It is the single most important issue dash the community of climate concerned earthlings. This is what I want to talk about. This, I think most of you have selected related to. So when we are talking about global warming, can we say global warming is a problem related to human beings? Is it just a problem related to human beings? The answer here is this is the single most important issue facing the community of climate concern. Facing here means standing right in front of you at the moment. This is the single most important issue which is standing in front of you, which you have to face, which you have to solve at the moment. That is when we use the word facing, right? So please note it down if you did not know this meaning of this use of facing word. So we'll go through it once again. They said casual. So the dialogue cannot be casual or formal. Dialogue is dialogue, but conversation can be casual form conversation or a formal conversation. So most matching is conversation. Second one, we have to make temperature changes in order to avoid. In order to means so that we can avoid. So we have to make temperature changes in order to avoid the consequences. Consequences means negative results. Third, the report says that if you want to do this, you would be required. This thing will require, but we don't have will, so we can say would require because it was 2018, so it is would require. Those daunted, past form, something which can be used for human beings. So past form is committed and it can be used for human beings is the way of selecting this answer. And it is the single most important issue standing right in front of us at the moment. We have to work on, we have to solve. That means single most important issue facing the community, right? Why not comment? What is comment, Nidhi? So comment would be like, I commented on somebody's shoes, or like kind of criticism. In that way we use the word comment. So we cannot say a common refrain in casual comment. In casual comment, that this is like inverted comma, so this is said by someone. So we cannot say this is in a comment. This itself is a comment, and it comment is in a conversation. Avert means stop, prevent. That is the meaning of avert. Facing, no, facing by. Facing by would be when, like, I can say facing by is no, iPhone, it should be faced by, not facing by. Faced by, this thing is faced by a lot of people. Facing won't come with by. Facing comes with to. Facing to. Okay. All good with all of you? Any other doubts in this question, anybody? So these are all questions about reading, writing blanks that we had to do today. We are jumping on to reorders. So Vijaya, the meaning of could is possibility. When you want to say that this could happen means there is a possibility that this might happen. That is the meaning of could. But would means, they said in 2018, if you want to achieve this 1.5 degree Celsius target, you would require to make changes. Means you have to. There's no like, this is not a possibility that maybe changes are required. It would require us to make changes if we really want to stop global warming. So in that sense, it is would there. So you can write can means ability, could means possibility, would means something to be done in the past. When in the past you want to say that something was to be done, that is would. Right? All good. Shall we move ahead? All right, so here you have your first question for reorders on the screen. You will get only 2 minutes to solve this. Please post your answers in the chat box and please read, analyze, find the hints and then put your answer. Sahan, can you please share your reason for putting C first? Raj, you as well, because I have only one, so maybe I am missing on something and your reason can help me out in explaining the reason for putting C first and B later on. So here they say in 2010, parties to the UNFCCC agreed that future global warming should be limited to below this 2 degrees Celsius relative to the pre-industrial level. And analysis by the United Nations Environment Program and International Agency suggests that current policies are too weak to achieve the target. Analysis suggests, so this was not analysis, SES is plural and SIS is the singular spelling. If you don't know this, you can even note this down. SIS is always singular and SES is plural. This comes in blanks as well sometimes. Analysis suggests that meeting the 2 degrees Celsius target would require annual global emissions. So would require was important. to peak before the 2020 and decline significantly thereafter, with emissions in 2050 reduced by 30 to 50% compared to 1990. These the first one. The main international treaty on climate change is the UNFCCC. So this was your first sentence, D. Second one, A, which most of you have got correct, because here you introduce your topic and here you're referring to it. So after that, you see what you have missed is in 2010, they took a decision that global warming should be limited to 2 degrees Celsius. And in 2010, what they decided, analysis at that time suggests that how would we know it's that time? Because of wood. Wood means in the future, these things would be required. So analysis suggests that meeting this target would require us to make these changes. And current word was more important here. Analysis by this organization suggests that current policies as of 2012, what we have, are too weak to achieve the target. So they, at that time, they decided that we will have to make the changes. And what we have noticed and in 2012 is that these are weak. They cannot achieve the 22 degrees Celsius target. Right? This is DACB. Any questions, anyone? I'm just trying to find something else, more stronger hint, but there is no other one. So if you put B first, then if you talk about current first, the present tense, you cannot go to past. So you were starting from past, right? You started in past 2012 and something, a general statement. Then you said something about 2010. Then we are coming back to present and then going back to past. That doesn't make sense. So if you are starting from past, you should finish past and your present tense should come at the end. That's also a way of arranging the sentences. So current policies means these are the policies that we have at the moment, that they were made in 2012, but these are the current ones that we have. Right? What about the years? So where this is not that this thing is happening in 2015 or when. So if there's something is happening in 2010 and then something is happening in 2050 or something we are expecting to happen in 2050, these are two different things. So here they say in this also has 1990. So we cannot say that we will pick to 2050 and we will not pick 1990, no? So it was not based on years, it was just based on that when they 2010 they decided, and a lot of things would have to be done. And then at present, what policies we have, they are weak, they are not suitable for what we want to achieve. Can be, but they have written like achieve the 2 degrees Celsius target. I think they should be writing like achieve the target. That would have been easier to make it like match it with 30 to 50%. There should be something in the exam they'll modify. They won't give it like this. At least something. But if not, then go with the order of years. What is the present should come at the end if you're starting with past. So analysis or analysis, IES or ES is just singular plural. That doesn't have anything to, any hint like for us. Not analyze, analysis only. Okay, question number 2. We hope this one to be better. 2 minutes for this. Please post your answers. Okay, should be done. An easy one. Let's look at the hints first. Since the onset of the Industrial Revolution, so whenever we have a connector in between two commas in a sentence, we should always read it in the beginning of the sentence. However, so if however is here, that means we have to say the opposite of this sentence before this sentence. So however, since the onset of the Industrial Revolution, such weather conditions. So such weather conditions, we have to talk about which weather conditions are they. And obviously we have to get the opposite first. Have mixed with smoke resulting in yellow pea soup, fog or smog. Negative. So this is mixed with smoke means this has turned negative. Most of the deaths resulted from the very young and the very old succumbing to attacks of bronchial asthma and pneumonia. So, which deaths are they talking about? London has long been known for its fog and mist. A general sentence. Beginning on December 5, the city was subjected to 4 days of thick smog, which killed somewhere between these many people and the cattle. So, we have a date and we have the city. So, which city are they talking about? In the late fall of 1952, we have year here. A combination of cold ribbon furnace smoke, fog, and cold conditions created one of the deadliest smog events in the history of modern London. So, one deadly event is what we have, which happened in 1952. The first sentence is C, in which we have the topic that we are talking about London. We come to know about London from here. Then they say London is known for fog and mist, all positive. Fog and mist is nothing negative. But then what happened negative is such weather conditions get mixed with smoke, and then this turned negative in industrial revolution because it resulted into smog. So that is why however came here, that there was fog and mist, but it mixed with smoke and it resulted in smog, something negative. And then the deaths December 5 or 1952. So the broadest one is talking about the year. Then in the year, what was the exact date? So 1952 was the year. The exact day was December 5. And then they said people died. And out of all the people, most were young children and very old one. So narrowing and narrowing and narrowing. First year, then day, and then out of all the deaths, most of them. So as you go towards the end of your order, your information always becomes narrower and narrower and narrower, like year, then day, and then out of all, how many exactly deaths or like major proportion was which age group. Any doubts in this question, anybody? All good? Okay, so here we have question number 3 on the screen. Put your answers, take 2 minutes. Look for the continuation of information. Just don't go with like you have the name and the half name will come right after. The rule is the full name comes first, the half name comes later on, not right after. That's not a way. You should go on with the continuation. So those who are putting A and C first before B and E, after A and B, what sense is B and E making? So let's look at the hints. This says Desilence is often, so Mr. D is often portrayed by mainstream media as an assassin. So what we understand, only highlight those words. So media always presents him in a negative light. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Haiti's founding father, proclaimed the country's independence from France on this date after a 12-year war. So this is the name of the person. Who is that person? Introduction. And he proclaimed the independence from France. We have a date, we have a war here. That's because, now this is the reason, you have to find out that for what are we giving the reason, why are we explaining that's because of this thing. That's because he was abhorred by white Europeans and Americans, leaders of global economic system who were intimidated by the Haitian revolution. So why are we giving the reason for? It called for a fair distribution of land among racial groups in a country that had won independence because of strategic alliances among blacks, biracial people, and a few white soldiers. So it called. What explanation are we giving for? What is that document or what is the policy which asks for fair distribution of land? Because it cannot be for a human being. One of his first executive orders was intended to prevent the abuse of land ownership. So we'll go like B is the first one. Then you'll say one of his first executive orders was this. So you first talk about what he did. So you, when you are trying to explain that he won the war, so you'll always start with what did he do in the beginning, right? So they have said one of his first executive orders was to prevent the abuse of land, and that order, it means, and because land is the topic going on, this is also fair distribution of land. So it means this order called for fair distribution of land among racial groups in a country. And then that's because, and he was portrayed negative by the media. So obviously first you'll give the point that he was portrayed negative. Why was he portrayed negative? That's because of so and so reason. So when you start talking positive about a person, you said that this person proclaimed independence from France and this person was showed negative by the media. Is there any connection between the two? So you should rather say this person proclaimed republic, independence. His first thing was this, then you explain the first thing. Then in the end, you say that the media shows him negative because at least the first three sentences make sense with make continuation with each other. But anyhow, even if you have messed up the sequence, the pairs are correct. So you should be getting marks for that AC and ED. Yeah, but could have been the opposite. Right. So we have the last question for reorders. Fourth one, and you have 2 minutes to solve this. Very well done, Faiza. Okay, this is an easy one now. So let's look at the hints. However, so we have to talk opposite about this first. Before this sentence, the union lasted only until 1922. So which union? Ireland had effectively been an English colony since the 12th century, and after the emergence of Great Britain, it remained under the influence of the British Crown. So it kind of giving us the topic that it was an English colony and it remained under the British Crown. Ireland soon became means after something should have happened. So soon became a sovereign republic, and its former partner took on the official name of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. In 1801, it formally, so who is it here? Formally joined with Great Britain as single political entity, which became known as United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, or the United Kingdom for short. So the question was about Ireland, that it had always been English colony under British Crown. And it 1801, it joined means Ireland joined Great Britain and came to be known as this. However, this lasted only till this 1922. So however means it did not negative to that, opposite of that. So it joined, but this thing only lasted till 1922. And when it is not under the influence, or when it came out of that joint agreement, so obviously it will be a sovereign means independent state or city or country. So Ireland soon became a sovereign republic after that. So it was BDAC. Good, Harjeet. Good, Faiza. You're doing well in the orders. Any questions, any doubts in this particular question, anyone? All good? Okay, so even if you are targeting 8 bands, if you're getting 50% in reorders consistently, it should be fine for you to go for the test. Try that you can increase that to 50 to 70. Like, it is definitely not falling below 50, but if it is falling between 50 to 70, or let's say 60, it will definitely be better. Thank you so much, Faiza. That's all because of you listen to things and you apply them. It's when it makes a difference. Thank you anyhow. So the first question for reading blanks on the screen, you have only 2 minutes for this. Try not taking 2.5 minutes. Ben, it's fine because you're aiming for 7. It's more than enough, 50%. So first question for reading blanks, and please post your answers within 2 minutes. Can we say places are lonely? Like lonely places? Lonely is bit used in a negative way. More used with human beings. I'm feel more used with like feelings, feeling lonely. Okay, let's look at the answers. Dash in the 21st century, there are places on the planet where few people tread. So we have capitals already and even. So we'll say even in the 21st century, there are places. Lonely mountain tops, desert interiors, Arctic ice floes, or the vast frozen ice sheets of Antarctica are dash places. So do you think they have used lonely mountain tops, means where there are nothing apart from mountains and mountains, only mountain? You can say again, these all are lonely places. Better to go with remote now. And how do we come to know about remote? They used about in the next sentence, they said most remote. So all of them were remote and then they narrowed down to which ones are most remote. So this is sometimes when you are not sure about the answer, leave that blank. And especially in reading blanks, leave the blank. Don't read it again 2, 3, 4 times and waste your time. Move on to the next ones. Most of the times you get the hints in the following sentences. So some of the most remote points on the planet are islands so far removed dash land masses. So far removed by landmass or from. No, landmass cannot remove anything from itself, but we can say they are removed from the land masses. Means like when we make the map, we don't really take those things in, we don't include those things into that is removed from. They are sometimes easily dashed by rest of the world. So with are, it should be past form of verb V3. They are dashed by the world. We only have one past form. They are forgotten by the world. And all are remote, fascinating places that continue to fire the dash of adventurers and explorers. So adventurers and explorers are human beings, lot of human beings, plural human beings. So they will have plural ideas, imaginations of adventurers and explorers. Any doubts in this question, anyone? Well done, Deepika. Any questions, anybody? Okay, let's move ahead then. This is your question number 2, and you have 2 minutes. Post your answers. Two important things. Will it be some of what we know or much of what we know? Some of what we know will mean only some part, like we know whatever we know about Vikings, some part of that. And much of means lot of. So it should be much here. How do you know that only some part is what they are talking about? And so that a lot of things that we know about Vikings come from this, and these stories that we hear about them. So that is much of. So it is, sorry. So it says much of what we know about Vikings today comes from rune stones, giant stones on which Vikings carved stories, dashed themselves and their history. So they will carve stories about themselves. This everybody has done correct. Many of these are memorial stones telling stories of people who died. Sweden has some 2,500 of these stories, and others are dashed throughout Scandinavia. So with are, it should be third form of verb. Others are scattered is the only third form we have. So some are Sweden has 2,500, others are scattered, means spread all over in Scandinavia. The Vikings also left their mark with runes dash. Hyphens like these always tell you the meaning of the word written just in the end. So any word which means among other places. So what is that word? Elsewhere. Elsewhere means other places. Why did you go with rambling? How do you know that Vikings also left their mark with runes rambling among? Among is not in continuation. Among is with hyphen. That means what did they want to say is other places. And other places means elsewhere. Means apart from these two areas that they have mentioned. Scandinavia and Sweden, there are other places as well. So don't ignore things. Commas, hyphens, brackets, everything has a logic, has a meaning. You cannot just read it and go, and I don't need the hyphen and let's just ignore it. You cannot do that. You need to think that why is the hyphen there? Why is a bracket here? Because they are hints for you. But we are so smart, we don't need the hints. Right? Okay, any questions, anyone? Apart from the jokes. All good with everybody in this question? No answer. Okay, question number 3 on the screen. 2 minutes for this, and please don't ignore the hints. They are for your help. Post your answers as you solve. should be done by now. Please post your answers, those who haven't. Easy one, no? David Beckham, English football player who gained international dash for his on-field play. So international recognition is what we use with gained. What we have here is gained international fame, recognition, one and the same thing. For his on-field play as well as for his highly publicized dash life. So on-field would be professional life as well as the other would be personal life. Do we have? Yes. At age 11, he won a football contest, and as a teenager, he competed on this national championships in 1992. 3 years dash, he began playing with the professional team. So 3 years later means after that. Beckham dashed national attention in August 1996. So again, past form of verb. He got national attention. What we have for got is he enabled or attracted. So we cannot enable attention, but we can get or attract attention. He attracted national attention in 1996. The following year, Manchester United defended its league title. The sentence is complete. After the blank, we have a verb. So we need adverb, something with ly, and I think we have two options. Strongly defended, successfully defended. So successfully means they were successful in winning again. We cannot say they strongly won or they strongly defeated somebody because we don't have the margin. Maybe they just won by 1 point. So it cannot be a strong win. So it will be they successfully defended the margin, the title, sorry. Good, good. Any confusions, anybody? Please do ask. Well done, well done. No confusions, no problems. Okay, and here the second last question, number 4. We have total 5. Fourth one, 2 minutes for this. Okay, should be done. Well done. So this says using observations dash NASA's Icon mission. So we use observations from a mission. Scientists presented the first direct measurements of Earth's long theorized dynamo on the edge of space, which spans the globe 60 plus miles above our heads. The dynamo turns in the ionosphere, the electrically charged boundary dash Earth and space. So whenever there are two things, we go with between. And yes, we do have it. It is dashed by tidal winds in the upper atmosphere. So it should be past form because it's a passive statement with by. It is ed by. So it is reflected by, it is affected, or it is powered by. So they are saying electrically charged. That means they are talking about the power here. It is powered by tidal winds in the upper atmosphere that are dashed than. So than means second form of verb. Do we have second form? Yes, faster. ERs are second forms of verbs and rise from the lower atmosphere, creating an electrical environment that dash satellites and technology on Earth. This is a fact. So facts are always in simple present tense. So we'll say that can affect satellites and technology on Earth. Right? Any questions? Well done, Deepika. Fourth one, with Dan, we use V2 Johnson, second form of verb, and faster is the only second form of verb that we have. Any other question, anybody? Quickest is third form Johnson. EST comes with the, ER is second form. All good? All right, the last question for today, and you have 2 minutes for this as well. Commonplace means everywhere. When we say commonplace computers, something has become commonplace, means a very common thing. That's how we use the word commonplace. The future of computing may be analog, the digital design of our dash computers. So we say the digital design of our everyday computers that we use is good for reading, email, and gaming, but today's problem solving computers are working with vast amounts of data. The ability to both store and dash this information. So, any verb that we use with information, one is we store information, the other is we process information. So with two, it should be first form of verb. Store is first form. We also needed first form. So it's process information can lead to performance bottlenecks. Dash the way computers are built. So these are the problems due to the way computers are built, means because of their way they are built. The next computer dash might be a new kind of hardware called processing in memory. So the next computer, what is next? When we change something, we can see the next revolution because it will be a completely new thing. Next computer revolution might be a new kind of software called PIM, an emerging computing paradigm that dash the memory and processing. So paradigm is singular. We need a verb with S. So out of the options, we have only one form, one S form of verb, which is merges. A paradigm that merges because paradigm is singular. All right. Any questions, anybody? Due to, so these are the problems because of the way computers are built, but we don't have because of, so I'll say these are the problems due to the way they are built. So due to means because of. Right, Nidhi? So these were all the questions that we had to do today. I hope you would have learned something new. And you're welcome, John. You're always welcome. So please keep attending the classes every day. If you're not free, so you can watch the recordings, but you have to do that. So those who are new, please do attend the basic grammar classes before these classes, or maybe in the very first week. They will be very helpful because there are certain rules that are there in those classes that we use here. So they are on the Facebook page. I'll show them to you in maybe 2 minutes after we wind up. So these were all the things, all the questions that we had to do today. Thank you so much for coming and attending. Please try that you learn a lot. Don't just focus about right, wrong, and the marks in these classes. Focus more on learning the things, the new things that you don't know, the new ways of doing things particularly, and try to use them every single day when you do your blanks. And there's an announcement before you leave. We might not have a class tomorrow. I might have some what is it called, an appointment maybe. So maybe it's not confirmed yet, but I'll definitely post on the Facebook page if there will be no class. So if in case there is no class, we will repeat a telecast of some previous classes. So those who haven't gone through that, please do attend and don't break your flow. Don't um, skip it. Just try that you still attend it at the same time. Okay, that's all from my side for today. Anybody who has any questions can please use the chat box to raise them. And those who are going, bye-bye, take care, good night. And I might see you tomorrow, might see you Wednesday. But I'll definitely post it well before time in the morning for the same. Right, bye. Those who are going, good night.